Okay, so to start off, I'm going to use the ScanNCut to cut out my flower and some leaves. So I've already stamped them out just to save some time on a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I've got them on my mat ready to load into the machine. I'm going to say scan, I'm going to say direct cut, save to the machine temporarily and start. I'm going to say OK. I'm going to drag in the handles to isolate the area where my stamped images are, and although the machine isn't showing me anything at the moment, I'm hoping when I hit preview it will have picked up the outline. So the screen looks kind of greyed out at the moment, but hopefully it will put the outlines in for me. So it's picked up the outlines, it's picked up some other stray bits off the mat. This is actually where I've cut something out of this piece of card before. So I'm going to say OK. I'm going to go to the offset, add a 0.4 offset and say OK. And then I'm going to come into edit and I'm going to use the arrows to toggle around until I find the bits that I don't want and delete them. So there are the elements that I want now. So I'm going to say OK. I'm just going to check the offset still on, and it is. OK, OK. Select and cut. Okay, that's finished cutting. I'm going to say OK, OK, and unload the mat. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. So you can see here, this is the cutout section that the ScanNCut was picking up, the bits that I deleted in my scan. So I've got my flower, and I've got some leaves. I've already die cut some leaves from a different suite, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so I'm not even sure if I've told you what stamp set I'm using, but I'm using Prize Peony, I'm using the big single flower, and I'm using the love and thanks from this sentiment here. And what I've done, I've masked off the bottom line with a post-it note, then inked it up, removed the post-it note and stamped it. And this is what I've got. So this is 1/2 inch by 5 inch. I've got a piece of a balmy blue, which is 5 inch by 1 inch, which I've embossed using the Dainty Diamonds embossing folder, which is all part of this prized Peony suite. And here's the embossing folder. I've got a piece of balmy blue A4 card, which I've cut straight down the middle on the short side, scored and folded in half. Then I've taken a piece of white cardstock, just plain Whisper White, and this is 5 1/4 by 3 1/2, and I've run it through the Dainty Diamonds embossing folder. Not sure how well you can see that, I think you can there. So just to save a bit of time really, I've kind of pre-prepared some. So A4 card, cut in half, scored and folded, and my card is going to open this way. Piece of Whisper White cardstock, which I've embossed. This is 5 1/4 by 3 1/2. I'm going to stick this directly onto the front of the card, and I'm just going to use some of our new Stampin seal. which is a lot more sticky than snail. This has replaced our old dry adhesive runner Stampin' snail. So I'm going to stick that on there, and then I'm not going to do anything else at the moment. I've got my flower and my leaves. Now, I've stamped these in Memento Tuxedo Black, but my Memento needs re-inking, so it's more like grey. So what I've also done, from the die set that comes in the Boho Indigo product medley, I've die cut this leaf several times in some of the greys that are in our neutrals cardstock. So I think this is basic grey and smoky slate, something like that. And I've just cut 3 of each for now. Don't know whether I'm going to use them. I don't know if I'm going to use some of them. I'm not really sure. What I'm going to do, in my previous project I showed using this suite, I did it in its kind of traditional colours, the colours of the suite, so I did it in pink and grey. But blue's my favourite colour, so I thought I'd have a go at doing it in blue. So this is Balmy Blue, and I'm just going to colour in this flower with a Balmy Blue light, this is, blend. And if you don't know anything about our blends, Stampin' Up blends are Stampin' Up's alcohol markers, and you used to be able to buy them one at a time in a light and a dark, and they come in most of the colours, not all of the colours that we do our inks and card and paper in. But from the June 2020 catalogue, you now can only buy them as a duo pack. So you buy, you choose what colour you want. So say for instance, Balmy Blue, and you'll get 1 Balmy Blue light and 1 Balmy Blue dark. So you build up your set now by buying both the light and the dark. So I'm not doing any special shading on this. I'm not a professional at this. I just like to colour. But because this stamp set has already got all the kind of definition and everything built into it for you, it's got the shading already in it. So I'm just going to colour it simply. So now I'm going to colour the leaves. I may not use these, as I say, because I've got the die cuts, but I'm just going to colour them. And this again is light and it's smoky slate. So I'm basically using Balmy Blue, white and a little bit of grey, possibly as just a third colour. I've not made this before. This is the first time I've made it. It's, in my head, simple design. It's the kind of design that you see me make a lot. I don't do, elaborate cards. I mean, there are some fabulous crafters out there that, make some really elaborate cards that, can take quite a while. I just can't do that kind of thing. So I've got all my elements and I'm going to start putting this together. So with my piece that's 1 by 5, again, I've put it through the same embossing folder, and my thinking is I'm going to layer that up kind of near the bottom. I'm going to put the sentiment over the top of it, and then I'm thinking I'm going to use the flower. This is just kind of laying it out roughly. And then in a project the other day, I was going to use one of these nested shapes that's from our Stitch Nested Label dies. I'll just show you. These are lovely actually because it's like double stitching. And I cut some, and I was going to use one cut in half. I cut two different sizes, but there are 9 dies in that set. And then I never used it. So I'm thinking I may tuck, just to add a little bit of glimmer, I may tuck one under there and one under there, just offset. I'm not sure yet. As I say, this is in my head and I've got the elements together, but I don't know whether it's going to work. And then I'm either going to tuck in some leaves, or I'm going to use the die cut leaves. Or I could use both. So I'm not too sure, I don't know what to do yet. So that looks quite nice. Then if I remove those, and let's see. How this is going to look. And these are embossed as well. I'm not sure how well you'll see this, but as well as being cut, they're all embossed. And as I say, this die set actually comes with the Boho Indigo product medley. I quite like both the greys, to be honest, but I think the darker grey goes better with that, but I like the pale grey as well. So let's see if we put maybe 2 in there and 1 in there. I think that looks quite nice. Let me turn it round and show you. And the Balmy Blue Glimmer card just adds a little bit of bling. I think I might go with that actually. So I can save these because I'll probably use these on another project. So let's start putting this together and see what happens. And then I might just cut these down a fraction because no one's going to know when they tuck behind. That one in there. Just hold those down, turn it over, tidy up my mess. So there it is. What do you think? I think it turned out nice, and it's not in the traditional pink and grey peony sweet colours. Yes, I've still used a bit of grey, but I've used balmy blue, and I just think it looks really nice. And as I say, it's simple shapes, so once you've cut your base cards and you've cut your matting layers, it's just a case of, you know, layering it up. You could stamp all your flowers and colour them in one session. You could cut your die cut shapes, cut your layers, and then it's just a case of you know, mass producing as you go. So I've used, as I say, Prize Peony. I've used the Boho Indigo dies and one of the dies from the nested stitched labels and produced that card. So I hope you like it. Please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.